Sup guys, the weather is fine, let's get to the topic. So you learn all them technicality tutorials, digit, weight tuts, creatures, dials, clusters, and so on. You still feel that your technicality is somewhat generic, and you don't feel confident about this field. Meanwhile, a lot of glovers out there have their own ways to do that tech. This used to be a big problem of mine. You are having the same problem if you do the field the same way. If you're finding the way to make your tut, make your tech stand out, then this series is perfect for you. Welcome to Build Your Tech number 1, presented by me. Pay attention that it is not a combo tutorial. Within Build Your Own Tech series, I'll show you what tools I use and how I use those tools when freestyling in tech. This not only features me but also other glovers outside this channel, so that you will have like a bunch of references to develop your own tech if you want to. In this series, every glover will try to explain how they do the tech. Feel free to pick up any tools that you are inspired. If you are interested in everything within this series, just pick it up, practice with repetition. Every day, every month, every year. Just do it, and someday you have your own style. Now let's get to the first number of Build Your Own Tech number 1. Alright, let's go. So the first thing to describe my tech is gestures and angles. For me, I change like gestures and angles so constantly, like every fucking second of my show. Many glovers like to keep one hand at a position or at the same place and use the other hand to move around, doing some cause and effect and switching between fingers. Meaning they wanted to keep one is maybe the platform or maybe an object to move around, and then use the other hand to do everything around that, right? But for me, I change angles and gestures for most of the time. From this hand to that hand, I just alternately change the gesture and angles like this. So for every time I keep changing to a new angles, to a new gesture. It's like this, alright? You can see that when I do tut, I just change from the right hand to the left hand. So both of my hands are pretty flexible. I just keep switching and doing that. This is because when I do tech, a lot of finger rolls also, right hand to left hand, and because I feel there's so much energy inside me, I don't wanna stay at one place and be technical. I just want the energy and the flow to be all out, just flow it all out from my body. So many people want to stay at the same place, getting technical, incorporating with a lot of concepts when they stay at one place. For example, when they are here, they may want to do the stuff like this, maybe. Yeah, but because of myself, I have a lot of energy, so I just wanna change and get to a new place and keep flowing around the space. If you're interested in using this going weight tuts, here are some tips for you. First of all, I depend on the grid, of course, the grid. Everybody knows the grid. So I usually make use of 2D and 3D grid. So this is 3D, right? 1, 2, and 3. We all know that. A lot of tutorials talk about that. And this is 2D, 1 and 2. So there's no, this grid. So it is a 2D angles. For me, I am used to incorporating one hand using the 3D grid, and one hand is 2D like this. So when I put them like that, or when I put them around each other, it feels kind of good looking, So you just need to go and get familiar with getting one hand like this and one hand like this. Then when you transition to one hand 2D and one hand 3D. So you move around that. So this is now 2 hand 3D, and you can move back to this grid, and now you are back to 3D and 2D, 2 dimensions. Alright. The second thing that I want to show you is the angles. A lot of people posting stuff on GL, they seem to care a lot about concepts, which is a good thing. But I feel there is still a lack of making use of angles. So there are many angles that we can utilize, but we haven't used them all yet. So for example, we have like this simple angle right here. So for 2Ds, we can switch it like this, or like this, or like this. So this is like the best angle that we can get, like within our capability. Like of course we cannot like turn it to here. We're not like wall breakers or anything. But if you are able to get familiar with like all of these angles, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can use it with like 2 hands. For example, like this, you're already good. Or for like 3D like this, you have like a bunch of options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like a whole lot of angles. So just use one hand and try to find, you know, all the difficult angles or all the like unexplored angles to you. And you can do it like just putting one hand is a platform and the other hand like just moving around to a new angle. So if you have this angle, you can like put it to here. Have this angle, you can put it to here. A lot like making use of angles is, you know, one of the ways that most people feel that their technicality is complex. And the final thing is the gesture. So one, we all know like all these basic gesture, right? This one also making use of all of this gesture, like just changing it constantly to a new gesture, doing this and this, or maybe I can do this. Yeah, or maybe I can sometimes like put the creatures in, so we have like a bunch of gesture. And we have this hand, so this hand can do like a bunch of other kind of gesture. So what I do is just like I move constantly from this gesture to the gesture, stuff like this. Just get used to like from this to this to this, using the thumb, boom, boom, boom. So doing the touch with like one hand of yours is kind of helpful. The second thing that I want to talk about my tech is that I move freely around the space. So because I use 2 hands like alternatively, just left hand to right hand and left hand to right hand and all that stuff, I am able to like move around the space quite easily. So I have probably like 2 main ways to do that. So when I move like around here, I just like jump this with a lot of finger rolls, of course, jump to here and then I make it follow the other hand around. So this feeling is kind of similar when you do the liquid like this to this, but now you do it with touch. So you are having this and you want to move to here. So what I'm gonna do is like boom, 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 and I move. So you know it's easiest to just, you know, make a start by moving one hand to a new place and make the other hand follow by somewhat way related to tech. Maybe I can use like creatures to come here, alright? Maybe I can use like pre-spot and isolation, so it could be like this. And then move to the new place. Boom, 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 boom. Welcome to the new place. And you can see that, you know, when I move around the space with my tech, I don't seem to like stick both of my hands together. I want them to like move freely, so instead of like moving just like this, I want them to be like boom, 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 boom. Like it gives you a really like free feeling. So when you do tech, it feels like you are doing the flow type of tech. So this is the final thing that I want to talk about my tech. I just move randomly among the concepts, every type of concepts that I know. So here are the list of concepts I use. First of all, weight touch. Yeah, we all know that, right? So when I use weight touch, I care a lot about the angles, the grid, and the space. Stuff like this. The second thing is creatures. You know, we just like do the finger wave with every creatures that we want to, with every like posture. So when I am weight touching and I know this, so this is like, so it is creatures. The second thing is dials. So the way I do the dials, I care more about how one hand can do the dials, you know, the finger stacking, before I put two hands in. So this is the very basic dials, right? Boom, boom. So this is like from Nemo dials and creatures. So I use this also like a lot. And this is the dial, you know, my type of favorite dials that I use with one hand. And I also like to like finger stack, finger stack, finger stack, boom, boom. So when I have like one hand can do that, so I incorporated like two hands. One hand will be, you know, the wave tut, one hand will be the dials. So it will be like this, like boom, boom. Next, digit. So digit have this, right? Very basic. But many people forgot about this. Or this. This is like very useful to use. So I have like some of my favorite moves I can use with this digit. Like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bum, bum, bum. So it is digit. Finger connection, boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually use like finger connection with digit. So it's like boop, 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 boom, boop, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, stuff like that. And maybe this is pretty a bit difficult. Takes practice, you know, just practice. Boom, boom, and dials again. Fixed point, yeah, fixed points. So this one is a basic fixed point, and I use it like. So I move to this fixed point. This will be the fixed point, and this will be the fixed point. Boom, this will be the fixed point. So I just like kind of like move around this fixed point, and using like fixed points in tutting, that will be like boom, boom. So for the first time, this is the fixed point, so I move like this. Everybody knows this. Or I can move like this, boom, boom, and I can move like So fixed point is kind of like useful when you use in tut. Also very useful in you know, flails and liquid, but we talk about that later. So when I use fixed point, I try to keep like hands separated like this, so it looks kind of like useful, and it's a kind of fresh way, you know, to use the line with tutting. A lot of tutters, like original tutters, use fixed point a lot, but in gloving, not too many people use that. So you can, if you wanna know more about like fixed points, I can help you with that. But I just, you know, break it through every type of concept that I'm using. The next concept I use is, you know, the thumb trick. I use a lot of, you know, moving around the thumb. So our thumb is able to do like this. Bim, boom, 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 boom. And its second ability, you know, the normal ability, is to spin like this. So we can like put, you know, the feeling of doing this or doing this into like tutting. So sometimes it feels like boom, boom, boom. So when I move on like this, I can like, and I can like move around this one. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe change the angles. Like boom, boom, boom. Pretty hard to see. Or maybe you can do this, my signature. So stuff like that. Like we use a lot of thumbs. So just mess around with the thumb, and someday you find a cool trick, maybe. Last one is cause and effect. Because my gloving style is like musicality based, so cause and effect is like super helpful for me. So, you know, I already talked about like cause and effect. So, you know, here's the gun and like boom and stuff like that. Or I can like break it, or I can like spin, you know, grab it. So, boom, 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 boom. And they are like cause and effect. So when I put it like into tutting, if I'm doing like the normal way tut that I'm using, and I can like, so there is like, I just randomly like put all the concept that I know into like one language. I don't separate them into like concept 1, concept 2, concept 3, because if you think like that, it will be very technical and very hard for you to be like creative. Just think of as many possibilities as you can when you are doing, you know, a movement at one position. That's how I finally break down my overall technique that I use when I do tech. Alright, I'm going to do like every single step, and when I do it, I'll show you what concept I just used. It is just for you to know that I just like move randomly among different types of concepts without like really concentrating on one thing. Alright, first, very basic, finger rolls. Boom. So here I'm going to digit, boom. So this is like moving at the same grid. So because this hand is moving upward, so there's one thing that can move upward on the other hand is the thumb. Alright, so that I change like the angles, new gesture, change angles, rotate it, and now I'm going to do the finger isolation with depth perception, like this. Cause and effect, spin it to a new. This is conjuring maybe. I don't really care, like I just put it into one language, and every idea I have I just put it in. So finger connection, stuff like this, and you have a new stuff. So I'm gonna dials to here, boom, 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 boom. So one hand I'm doing the digit, and one hand I'm doing like creatures and dials and stuff like that. So I'm doing the weight up again, to maintain the flow. Still like constantly changing the angles, constantly like changing, moving around the space. So here I'm going like what I just did, like it's like threading. Boom, 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 boom. So this is like threading and creatures. And here I'm using fishbone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, boom. So this is a trick of mine. I don't know, it is like 3-point isolation and stuff like that. Alright, so now I'm using finger connection maybe. Boom. Creatures, whips, creatures, and boom. So adding flow to that, moving around the space. King Tut with one of these. So now I'm using that one, put the thumbs out, put the thumbs in. So as you can see that I use like randomly every type of concept that I know. So I just put it in. That's also the way that a lot of lovers who do a lot of tech do the same way. Like they just come up with every type of concept at every point of time that they have, and they put that in. Like don't one tip for like creating your tech is don't think like too much about the concept. Just get along with like every single concept, and then when you already get used to like doing dial, doing like creatures, doing finger connection and stuff like that, you get used to doing just one thing, and then you put like all of them into your favorable style. So because you have your own favor in each kind of concept, you have your own favor in doing like weight touch, dial, clusters and stuff like that. So when you put them all like in, you just need to practice and trying to come up with new move. The move that is your own, that is representing your style. Repetition, and repetition. Practice like for a year or 2 years with every type of concept that be open to everything. I'm just like open to everything. So that's why I do the tech and I do the flow, and I have like musicality because I'm open to everything. And it's the most important that you gotta have fun. Like if you don't have the community around you, well, you can like have a call, online call with somebody who's laughing with you. It's a lot of fun. I have like my bros and my team and my friends around here, so every time I meet them, we just like put on the music and we have fun. So it's the most important to have fun. Alright, so this is the end of the first number of Build Your Own Tech series. So for the later number, there will be other developers talking about their tech, just like me. So you will have like a bunch of references. You can just pick one. If you're interested in doing different gesture or improving, moving around the space, you can watch my video. If you are interested in how I randomly use different concepts, you can watch my video. And if you are interested in like different person, different developers, different way they present your technicality, just feel free to pick it up and practice. Remember to practice and transform it into your own style. Okay? Alright, I thank you for being the supporter of my Patreon channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.